All right. So when you first log in, everyone out in the press room, minus a couple people, will have a different view of the system over what customer service will see. So when you log in, this is the initial page you're going to log into. This page is all of the jobs that are currently in shop. So that's what you'll see here. All these jobs here, you can click on them and they'll bring you to like the job page. What you can't see that customer service can see is like the back end job notes and when they're putting in quantities and all that stuff. And so it eliminates the accidental changing of quantities and material and all that stuff. So when you guys are going to be tracking, I don't really see you using this page much at all, but I'll just continue on from this page before we get into tracking. Up at the top, you got these blue menu buttons here. If you go to switch layouts, these are custom built layouts that we did for ourselves. So all orders be the same as this front page. Late orders, if there's any jobs that haven't shipped on time, and if they're late, they're going to be highlighted in red.
Why are there so many?
We started this effort back in 2001, switching over the system, and then we canceled doing it for a long time. So these are all the old jobs from back in the testing. And then you can see at the bottom here, due today, due tomorrow, and then the next orders. This area is built on order based, not item based. So how TGT shows you right now, if you have A, B, C, D, you'll see all A, B, C, D, E, F, G on the orders due list. This will just show you the job. It won't let you know if there's more to it. Which what the orders due today, again, order level, which we can change it to item level if that makes it easier. The order status, it lets you know where it stands. The order status will automatically update from production. So if somebody's currently printing, the order status will change to printing in progress. If printing is done and cutting hasn't started, it will say printing done, cutting in progress, and so on. So these pages here and the tracking page are going to be the most that you'll be using. If you are currently tracking on something and you can't remember what you're tracking on because it doesn't show you what users tracking on this page, is if you hit the timesheet here, you can see what you're logged into. This list, PrintLogic's updating it currently as we speak. So everyone's names will pop up here, but this list is different from your login. So you still need to log in, and I'll show you how this list is gonna be used. So if you see that you're logged in there, you can just go to that job and cancel out of it.
Someone's got to call Joe to wrap up his Publix job.
The good thing with this, unlike TGT, is anybody can close it out. So if you're tracking on it, anybody can stop it.
Nice.
Production scheduler and production scheduling. This and this are two different. We're not using production scheduling up here. I don't know why it's in your view, but we don't even see that in the office. I don't even see it as an admin. So the production scheduler button here, this is what Danny will be using for scheduling orders. So you can see over here, you got the different processes, different jobs. This will most likely be used by Dan and Kurt for just visual reference of where we stand for stuff. But at the wee bottom that I'm trying to get them to change, you see down here where it says list screen?
Yes.
We had them build this for us to replicate TKT as much as possible. So when you click on list screen, the first page that pops up is the order in progress. So you guys know the screen that shows out in the press room of jobs that are tracking. That's what this screen will be. Again, it doesn't show you who's tracking on it, but if you went to the timesheets, you could see who's tracking, and if it's somebody who isn't here at the moment or if they know they're done, they can exit out of it. You can see that we've been tracking on this one for 78,695 minutes. It was only scheduled for 12. And this one we're at 103,511 minutes. It was only scheduled for 15. Yellow, when you see yellow in your departments, that means it's in progress. Orange means that the process prior to that one is in progress. And then once the process prior to that is finished, the orange will now turn to green, and that's the key OK process. So like I said, this whole part of the system, we had them build it for us. And when you currently log into TKT, you select your press when you're logging in. And then if you need to change your press, you gotta log out, log back in again. So up here, switch departments processes. You don't need to keep logging in and out. You can go to your department here. And then from here, it will give you a list of all the jobs that are in that schedule. The other thing with scheduling jobs from this page is they can move them. So if something is going to be print first, it can be dragged up here. I think the mic's picking her up. And then if this page changes the schedule, it will rearrange the production schedule screen that you saw. So it's another way to schedule. You have a progress bar that you'll see how long it's scheduled for, something that wasn't very apparent in TKT. So you know how much time's allotted for the order. And then when you start tracking, when this page refreshes, you'll see where that status is and how long you've been tracking on it. The job sheet, this is the work order. This is where you're going to get all the notes for the job. If you click on it, it's going to open up a new window. Let me change that real quick. So it's going to open up a new window that will look like this. And you can see up here, it's got the job number, all the notes for the entire job, not just specific departments, will be in this one area. So you can see everything for the order in one spot and not have to go to different areas. You're going to have your material, the board required. So that's what we quoted for the job. That includes waste. If it was rolls, it'll tell you what the linear feet was. You have your quantity, you have your size, the machine that it's scheduled for. Artwork, this is for pre-press. If it's on FTP, it will say FTP, email, whatever right there. Any pre-press notes, pressing cutter notes, finishing details, packaging notes, miscellaneous notes, and then for shipping notes are here. Customer info up top. And if you scroll down, you got any hardware that is needed for the order as well. So if this job, the only thing at the moment, the way that this is set up, if this job had multiple letters, customer service is putting all the notes for all the letters in this one screen. So you'll see it all at one time. If it has multiple letters and this, like you have to go down to letter Z, you're going to open this page up, even if you're opening it up from letter Z, and you're going to have to scroll all the way down to letter Z. So to make it easy and not have to scroll, everything is going to be in A. So that's all you guys will see, no matter what letter you're opening that job ticket on. Now we're not printing this out because if notes change, this will automatically change. So we want this to be something that's opened up in the press room so you can see live notes. The standard job ticket form will be printed with the job bag.
Will we be able to click checklist there? Yes and no?
No. This is going to be in the bag like we have it now. This shows up here so customer service can print it, because the way the system was designed was this was supposed to print with the job. But since we do things different here and we have lots of changes all the time, I don't want to print it because it updates.
So we're still getting bags along with this as well.
Yep. So procedurally, nothing is changing. Except all the notes are going to be just on this page that pops up first. For no matter what letter you're in, you'll see the notes here. This could be 3 pages long, depending on how many notes there are, but all the notes will be here.
And how do we leave notes? Like we need to leave like a note for the next pressman or something like that.
So if you want to leave a note, there's a couple ways you guys can do that, and I'll get to it.
Okay.
So that'd be the job ticket. When you go to track, you hit start, and you pick your name. Again, this is that list that they're updating. they haven't been able to. I haven't really asked them to. If we're logged in, why can't that just be our login? Something eventually they could fix, but at this point in time, they want us to start using the system before they make any bigger changes. Once you start tracking it, did I move it? I must have moved it. Once you start tracking, it turns yellow, and then the next process is going to be orange, and then the next process will be green. I'm in Jetty right now, so that's why I don't see anything that's green. When you're done with the job or you're pausing, if you hit finish, this is going to pop up. You're going to put in your quantity that you produced. So even if you produced half, you're going to put in your half quantity there. Any notes they need to put in will go in here. And then
do you want us to do piece count, sheet count, when you want that?
this is going to be
Sheet count.
quantity of pieces for both. So if you needed to print 10 more sheets over the waste, you would put the 10 pieces here, not sheets. Pieces. Yep.
And I'm sorry, you said up top is the piece count, right?
Yep. Both counts here are piece count. So you'll never have to put in material count.
So never put in the
Nope.
sheet count, sheet loss or anything.
And when you're using this here, it will automatically report on
Will this come up when you hit pause?
every time.
Just gonna ask it.
Awesome.
Okay.
And then down here will be pause job and then
Right.
finish job.
And then when we go in, say the next person comes in and logs in, looks at that job sheet, our notes from here will load onto the job sheet.
One last question. When we're pausing the job, are we pausing that for lunches and breaks as well, or? Okay.
You're only tracking when you're actually working on the order.
All right.
It's very important for shop floor data. I know that tracking and TKT has been kind of like here and there. We've been getting better at it. This system, it's critical that we have accurate tracking, especially with making sure that everybody's on the same page for what's in the schedule. Because if this day here has everything we need to get done for today, if this does not get done in today's schedule, the system doesn't currently push it out. It unschedules everything that's not done for today. So then everything for today that was unscheduled is going to have to be rescheduled. That's one of the things that I'm going to have them fix, but at the moment, that's how the system works. Because it does auto schedule everything. But if somebody had to come in and go through here and reschedule everything, it would be a pain. Because if I click that, yeah, it will auto schedule, but it auto schedules based on due date. So, not complexity of the order. Any questions so far? The other place that you can put notes that are a little more in depth is down here. If you, what's that job number? 159. If you search your order, 30. See, that says printing in progress because I'm tracking. If you put notes here, and then hit save notes, this would be on the front page of the job for any future reference. Any times tracked will show up at the bottom here. So if you're working on stuff that's tracking, you'd see that. But actually, this looks like my login screen. You guys won't see all of this for the order. This is all customer services. Because this right here, I can go in here and change all the info on the order, which no offense to anybody, but we don't want everybody having access to that. So, any questions? This is the and I'll just show you guys. This is what we see on the other side of the wall versus what you guys see. We have sales. We got different reporting, setup panels and stuff. All the customers here. So you guys only see what you really need to see and use.
Are we tracking materials through this as well?
Yep.
Okay.
So Anthony will get with you on that, but through here, and through your view of it, stock control. If you hit stock control, see over here, taking purchase order.
Okay.
So if you got this purchase order coming in, you can click on it. Yeah, oh yeah, purchase order number. It goes up here, depending on which one I click on, and then hit continue. So you can just type in the purchase order, which that PO is not found, or has been fully received. So, anyways, I don't know which ones he's done and which ones are tests or not. But you click on it and you can continue, and then all the information for that will pop up here. It will have quantity ordered, quantity received. You type in the quantity received, and then if it's a partial, it will know that it's a partial. But then it will clear out that PO and it will put everything in inventory, and then the system automatically deducts from inventory. So another reason why, if you guys are pulling more material off the rack, that we need to report it so we can keep it up to date. Because just taking it off the rack doesn't take it out of inventory.
Is there a process that we need to go through when using this to get more material? Like,
If it's above what the job calls for,
Mhm.
even if it's just a post-it note on
Mhm.
Anthony's desk,
Okay.
or give it to Kurt, Kurt will give it to us, just so we know that it's being
I
taken.
mean, will they see it in the waste or the spoilage or in the notes we could leave?
Yes, but for now, until we can actually make sure that it fully works.
Just give it to one of you guys.
Yeah.
Date.
Okay.
Okay.
But if we're using the spoils properly, it should deduct everything. And the more accurate we use the system, the more accurate our information will be.
So when they're putting in spoilage in the note section, you're still doing pieces.
Yeah. Both of those are piece count. None is sheets. Because the system automatically impos for you. It knows what you can get up on a sheet. Other than that, you got delivery tickets up here.
So one question about that. We've had a couple issues where the system will take the size of the piece and then input it to the size. Input it to the size of the sheet.
Mhm.
But then when it gets to like pre-press, they might not input it the way the computer input it, so they might end up having a bigger sheet count
Mhm.
because of the image they input compared to what the system thinks they could fit onto the sheet. Because I've had a few times where I've had to go to anything and say, hey, this is coded a little under. I should have 30 sheets, not 20 sheets, because of the way they input it. Because
Yep.
it sees it one way and then pre-press does it another way.
Yeah, TKT does that with the coding, but TKT is also broken. We spent a lot of time making sure that was accurate, so we're getting the proper count.
Okay.
The only time that it won't be is if we have a final size that isn't really a square trim, and then it turns out to be a shape that we really can't, because it only bases it on square lines. So if it's something contour or different, we'll run into that. But the system is much more accurate when it just
So
determines that.
and then just in case of that kind of instance, do we just go to Anthony? He
Yeah.
changes it. And,
Yep.
okay.
The other thing you guys might need to do if you're shipping is delivery tickets. So these are all like packet slips. Eventually, in one of the phases of rolling out, they can do it on the phone, or they can do it on here. The driver can sign it and stores it in there. But the packing slip actually has a QR code on it that if you scan it with your phone, they can sign your phone screen. So, and everything just looks much more professional. But we tried to keep it as close to the same procedures as possible with TQT, just a system that's cloud based and more functional.
Seems easier.
And we can't build this, like we said the other day, we can't build it a lot differently than TQT, but for the purpose of the changeover simplicities.
Yeah, they and if you guys have feedback and some suggestions, or hey, this would be cool if we saw this, like customer service is giving us feedback, like hey, this doesn't do this, we can do it now. How are we going to do this? Just bring it up. At the moment, I don't want stuff like that to stop us from moving forward, because sometimes when people have like, well, that doesn't work, so I'm just going to wait till it's fixed. We can't do that. They have been willing to help us out and build a lot of this stuff out for us. at no additional cost to us.
That's great.
But now they're at the point to that they need to see us using it full time before they expose themselves anymore, because they don't want us to just steal what they're creating for our own benefit. So they need to see that we're actually using it. And last time we did this, we worked with them for like a year and a half getting this set up, and then we just pulled the plug on them because past employees who are no longer here. So we'll just start using it. You're gonna see job bags coming out starting yesterday, with 2 job tickets. I'm gonna get you all your logins once they update the users info, and then start tracking on both for now. Wednesday, we're gonna start using the system more in tandem with TGT. And depending on how that goes for a week, we're either gonna test all month or we're gonna start to fully switch over.
No, the bags are gonna be the same papers that are always been in there, still gonna
Yep.
be in there.
Yep, that's not gonna change.
There's not gonna be like like a image within Print Logic that shows the image or
There will be eventually.
Okay.
The back end can see it under the
Yeah.
proofing because the system sends proofs emails to customers and they can mark it up and everything. They can approve it or deny it. But we'll eventually get to a point to where a link could be generated out in the press room where you guys can see the graphics. too.
Mhm.
You'll be able to zoom in on stuff and
Yeah,
see the
Or-
PDF.
maybe get true color in some images or something.
So that's on the list of things we want them to do. But at the moment, there's a couple phases of rolling out with integrations with some other software, and then using like the email functions of here. So right now we just want to use it for quoting, job entry, and tracking and shipping, and all the other bells and whistles we'll work on after we start rolling it out. TKT's become more and more of a problem. It's having more and more issues, so it's time that we need to definitely switch over. And the beauty of this is we have a whole team of support people that when we need help, TKT, we got nobody.
One guy who's lost in the woods in Canada.
Yeah, nobody to help us if anything happens.
I remember when they shut down.
So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. If you guys need questions, just come grab me. But other than that,
Before we go, can you go do a quick, simple from the start, log in, go to the press schedule, find your job track, put some notes in, almost simulate what they would do.
right. So this is where you go when you log in. I'm using Maria's login just to so you can see what it looks like. I don't know her password. There's links. We have links. I can give you guys a link. All you need is the link to log in. You don't need a username and password.
Okay.
Which I can do that for everybody. So when you log in here, production scheduler. Down at the bottom, you go to list screens. And from here, you can type in your job number. This is kind of like all departments. That was a good job number. But just make sure if you're using this function to search for the job, that you are grabbing the right process. So you see here A, B. Make sure you're grabbing file prep or AGFA or info. Just make sure you're using the right feature. And then if you start tracking from this page, from your search page, and I refresh it, it stays there. It doesn't go back to everything and then you got to search it again.
So when it gets to us on the jetty, all those are gonna be green right before the jetty.
If rip to press is done
Okay.
and tracked properly. So like, see how that's green?
Right.
Rip to press was done prior to that.
So if we see that we get the job bag, but then that color is
Yeah.
whatever that's not ready,
Then nobody's
Then
tracked it.
production
If you have the
should-
job bag and it's orange, that means that person's still tracking.
then we should go back and
Yeah.
okay, before keeping the
Before
next.
starting, right?
So when they log in just under the Jetty one or whatever, they'll see everything that,
Everything that's scheduled.
just like TQT.
Yep, you got your scheduled date here. Scheduled date and time. This right here is your due date. So, and then customer. This description gives you everything you need to know about the job. So 100 floor graphics, 50 each and 2 full color 12 by 12 printed one side on floor vinyl, 54 wide, laminating, bright gloss, floor laminate, digital cutting.
Quick question. Jetty One is printing 300 sheets. They got 100 sheets going. Zune wants to start cutting. Will they be able to start tracking even though it's not?
They can start tracking.
Okay.
They can start tracking. That's not an issue. Because they'll have an orange, they can start tracking.
All right.
It's just more of like the whole idea of the QOK process was to make sure that we're policing the process and making sure that it works properly. So if you don't have a QOK and you start producing it, and then you did something wrong
Mm-hmm.
or whatnot, but it's to let you know. And then if you're out there and you don't have any greens, if we didn't have this QOK process set up with the system, you wouldn't know if it's ready or not unless you had the actual physical job. So this is because of us that they built that whole thing. There's a lot of changes that we had to make out from the out of the box system. So there's going to be things that are probably broken that we haven't found yet until we really get into the testing and everybody's using it. So we just got to get to that point because right now it's been me doing jobs and then Karen started doing them, but up until last week it's been me trying to test as much as possible. And then until customer service got involved last week, there's ways that they do jobs I didn't even think of that they're asking how to do it. Now we got to find solutions for it. So, but ask questions. There's going to be a new intranet homepage. So you know how we have the the
The other view.
the login where it has like all the links you can click on.
The 10.10.
Yeah.
You're right.
So this is going to be the new page that I'm going to get on all the computers out there. You'll have training videos. That's a link to the YouTube channel. This is a form to fill out for PrintLogic feedback and questions. If you fill it out on this form, it's going to automatically go to my Microsoft Planner form that I got for PrintLogic launch. Heartland check view for your pay stubs. PrintLogic link for where you can go to log in to use your username. NCR quality reporting, quote requests. We'll put like lunch dates here, birth dates here. I wanted to show you guys that Hawaii is not too much different from Rochester, so I kept Hawaii in there.
That's
And then we'll use this we'll put more information on here and stuff, but this will be the internet page for everybody.
Cool.
Yeah. Wait,
That's way better.
that's right.
All right. Any other questions?
None.
So when you get us, when it updates and you get us our login stuff, you want us to start tracking on this and TQT? Okay.
If you have a job for both. Right now, the job tickets are going to start with 300 for PrintLogic. As soon as we make the switch, we're going to change that naming convention back to what we have now. When we run them together, there's no way that we'll guarantee that this job number is going to be the same as this job number. So we're going to have two printouts. We'll just need to make sure that we're tracking them both.
Okay.
All right. Good stuff. Easy.
Pretty easy.
Pretty straightforward.
Seems a lot better.
It's a lot less of a pain in the ass to log in to be able to track.
And you have more view.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the press, you'll be able to see the job ticket and everything
Mhm.
like that. Unlike with TQT, different views. Oh, there's more information in the TP site than there is in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do go to the work order, if you do have questions, so all the notes that customer service thinks is important is going to be in A. But if you do need to know like material and stuff for the letters, you'll have to just scroll down and see what the material is. Once we start using the system, this page is after every single letter because the way they had to set it up, but I want to get this as like its own separate thing. So if we had 26 letters of a job, now we have 52 sheets in that because
Yeah.
this one adds it after everyone. So we'll eventually get that taken care of. But if you don't know what the material is, you can just scroll down. But it also says material on each line.
Okay.
All right. All good?
Over.